Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Content to Play Villain. In this episode, I'll be discussing the fictional character, Arthur Fleck, a character from the 2019 film, Joker. This episode will be broken down into 4 parts. Firstly, who Joker is. 2, the evil things that he did. 3, why he did those things. And 4, my opinion if the evil things he did were justified. I hope you enjoy this episode and make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get started. Played by Joaquin Phoenix and set in 1981, it follows Arthur Fleck, a failed clown and aspiring stand-up comic whose descent into mental illness and nihilism inspires a violent countercultural revolution against the wealthy in a decaying Gotham City. The film shows us how he becomes a nihilistic and psychotic criminal known as the Joker. Arthur Fleck is a clown and aspiring stand-up comedian who lives with his mother, Penny, in crime-ridden Gotham City during the early 1980s recession. Arthur Fleck is a man with thick and wavy shoulder-length dark brown hair. He is very pale and has an emaciated body with almost no muscle or fat, as well as appearing old and sickly, likely a result of his poor lifestyle and smoking habits. He was often seen wearing a casual brown jacket, brown pants, and gray button shirt. He has an almost constant demented gaze that he gives off. He suffers from a neurological disorder that causes him to have random, uncontrollable laughing fits, requiring medication for which he depends on social services to obtain. By 1981, Arthur has learned how to somewhat control his laughter with the help of a therapist and social worker by obtaining medications from Arkham State Hospital to handle his other problems. To achieve his dream, Arthur has taken the job of clown for hire, working in various roles, among them dressing as a clown and entertaining children at a hospital to make money, so he can use the future salary he would get to help his mother to heal from her illnesses and to help himself. Later in the film, budget cuts shut down the social service program, leaving Arthur without his medication. Joker greatly opposes the way Gotham is run, and in the film, there are several suspicious acts that confirm he could be an outrageous villain. One of these acts is outright murder. Joker in the film kills multiple people. The most notorious killing was the murder of popular TV talk show Murray Franklin on live TV by shooting him in the head and chest. The original plan was for Joker to blow his own brains out on national television, so that his death will have more impact on the world than his life has to this point. However, after Arthur is introduced on the show, and the moment he had been planning for comes, he ends up choosing not to go through with it. Instead, he confesses on live TV to the murders he had committed earlier in the film, condemns the city and its people for the way it treats its less fortunate. When he finally does pull his gun on the stage, rather than turning it on himself, he shoots Murray Franklin in the head, killing him instantly. Another act of murder Joker commits is the random, senseless murder of Randall, a man who he worked with. Now, Joker and Randall were never on best terms. Their history goes way back to when Joker gets assaulted by a group of teenagers. Randall offers him a gun to defend himself, but when Arthur gets fired for possessing the weapon, Randall gives no help to him. Joker kills him for revenge. So, at this point in time, Joker is a killer, and killing is what villains do. He expresses no remorse or regrets for any of his murders, and seems to take pride in them, and frequently made jokes about the people he killed. Aside from killing, Joker is also an anarchist attempting to overthrow the corrupt and cruel social structure of Gotham City by inciting riots and breaking the law. Joker intentionally promoted class warfare by painting all rich people as self-obsessed scoundrels. It now begs the question, if Joker were to succeed in his overthrow of Gotham, would Gotham be in a worse state than it is right now? Absolutely. It can be argued that it is an evil act to attempt to overthrow current systems in place, even if those systems are not perfect. A murderer such as Joker is not the right person to lead such a charge. Now, why was Joker content to play villain? In other words, why did Joker perform his acts of evil? I'll give my opinion. Why did he suddenly start killing people? It's because he learned it stopped them from abusing him. The guys on the subway were hurting him and causing him mental and physical pain. He killed them, and it went away. And he felt empowered for taking control of his life and refusing to let people bully him any longer. This is why he dances in the bathroom. He feels a sense of freedom and control of the pain in his life. When he learns his mother has deceived him and hurt him as a child, the pain is unbearable, so he ends that suffering as well. It's not that he wants to hurt others, he just wants his own pain to stop. And he stops it the only way he knows how, by killing. The same for Randall. He feels deceived and let down once again by someone he believed was his friend coming to check on him after his mother died. At this point, he realizes the power he feels by no longer letting anyone hurt him, and he becomes Joker. Murray Franklin invited him on the show to make fun of him. He now knows he doesn't have to tolerate this anymore. He can end it. His life is no longer a tragedy because he has taken control. He now sees it as a comedy where people who hurt him get what they deserve. He feels like his own hero, and ultimately a hero for everyone just like him. There's an argument to be made that everyone who wronged Joker had it coming and all the killings were justified. He went from a victim to the people's hero. He was the reluctant hero. However, should we condone murdering someone because they said something mean to you? Symbolically, what he did was justified. Clearly, these actions aren't acceptable in the world we live in because of our laws, but when you stop to think about all the pain caused by bullying and making fun of people for things they can't help control, it becomes debatable whether or not these people got what they deserved. This sort of stuff can scar people for life, or even cause them to commit suicide. This is where the symbolic emotional self-defense comes into play. As Arthur says on the Murray Franklin show, the system decides what's right or wrong, which creates the philosophical debate of who exactly determines what's right or wrong. Society does. And in Gotham, society is dominated by people who go around being cruel to those who are less fortunate. Throughout the film, he is contemplating suicide because society is so cruel he no longer wants to live. So, considering his mental health, lack of help, suicidal thoughts, and Gotham being a non-existent place without real laws, who decides if what he did was wrong? He had to choose his life or theirs. It's much deeper than it appears on the surface. Obviously, in real life, we can't go around killing people for being cruel, but in another world, it may not be wrong because the world would be a better place without them. It's all perspective. Were Joker's acts justified? Some would argue that it is. Many of us see injustice and want to enact justice in the form of killing the perpetrator, but they know there would be consequences for doing so. However, some would argue that citizens should not take justice in their own hands in the form of killing. That is up to the law. But as we see in Gotham, the system has let people down. One thing is certain, Joker suffers from mental illness and trauma. He shows some symptoms of intermittent explosive disorder such as mood swings, hyperaggression, as well as antisocial personality disorder, such as lack of empathy and impulsiveness. Should his trauma excuse him for being evil? That is for the viewer to assess and decide.